It's Larry Shaw, social entrepreneur, author of Raising Me, and I'm here with So Exquisite Charleston Magazine. And the idea behind the book was allowing me to be able to reach youth at a younger age. So I have a mentor program called Teenpreneur, where I mentor youth ages 11 to 25. And so I wanted to kind of get the conversation started with a younger generation. And so that book is just about getting a conversation to them, starting conversation, but also the end goal is to rebuild the relationships between youth and elders so that we can start supporting the youth and creating solutions for the problems in their own community. Social entrepreneur is kind of the new catchy word, but what a social entrepreneur is somebody who is dedicated to creating solutions in the communities to solve issues. The best way to describe it is take something that you love to do and a problem that you hate to see and you married it to. So solving issues with your passions and talents. I think writing in general is just a powerful tool. One of the things that a lot of people talk about is to eradicate poverty or slow down poverty, literacy has to be high. And so I think that we as African American community, we don't read as much. There was a time where we were killed or harmed for reading, so now it's kind of like it's in our mind to not read. And so one, I wanted to be able to be an author, write a book, show kids that they can be authors as well. But the main thing is whenever you're reading, you can't really argue with the words on the page. So a lot of times if you're reading a book, you have to read the whole book through to kind of get the ideal of it rather than just kind of a back and forth conversation. And so that's one aspect, and the other aspect is just having something that's going to be timeless. The book is going to outlive me, and the message is going to outlive me. And so that's why I wanted to have that intellectual property so that I can, monetize that and let it live way beyond me, all my children. So for me, entrepreneurship is more than actually like having your own company or business. I think entrepreneur have to start first in the mind. And so even with my program, my mentor program, the goal is to transition people from deficit thinking to asset-based thinking. Right? So instead of thinking that, I have to go get a job and I have to go do this and I only have this amount of money, like you have assets within yourself, your ideas, your thoughts, your abilities. You can monetize it. So in a nutshell, everybody can be an entrepreneur. Everybody can start a business. Everybody can do something that they love to do and monetize it. And we're going to have to give kids this idea of this ownership, entrepreneurship. Also, if I'm an entrepreneur and I know what I want to build my life, certain things become more meaningful in terms of education, current jobs, current situations, because you can look for the things you need to get to build your own thing. So that's why entrepreneurship is important, especially in our community, because again, we don't own a lot of things, and we have this liquid resources that we have buying power that's kind of crazy, but we don't support ourselves, we don't support each other. So I think entrepreneurship with our community will give us a sense of identity, of ownership. We get to value ourselves because we know that we actually of value. So it's just one of the most important things that I would think, entrepreneurship. Yeah. So for me, there were people that was mentors and around, but they didn't actually support me in a way that represents my identity and who I am and what I love to do. It was more so teaching you to survive and teaching you to be a good student and a good employee. For a while, I was working for other people and I was the best employee at each job, but I wasn't fulfilled. A lot of people around me always say, you need to be somewhere else, you need to be doing something else. And I didn't really believe that until I think my 30s. I'm 33 now, so around my 30s is when I was like, okay, it's time to figure something else out. And just that confidence is is necessary. And again, all of my efforts is literally to empower youth to do that. Like actually, after the book signing, I have a community building book signing for Raising Me. The follow-up event is a book writing workshop. And so with that workshop, I take the youth and their parent, I teach them how to write their own story, control their own narrative, and the parent just support that rather than tell them how to write the story, what to do. It's more of supporting the youth. And I feel like once we learn how to support each individual and allow the individual to build off of who they are and give them that knowledge of self, I feel like we will solve a lot of issues in our communities. Well, one of the things that I do in my mentoring program as well, because that's important to me. Children have to see different levels of black excellence, whether it be cooks, politicians, entrepreneurs, whatever. They have to see different level of black excellence. And when I say black excellence, I don't mean somebody working a job and their passion is something else, but people who are really passionate about what they're doing, and they have to see different levels of that. And one of the important things with this entrepreneurship program and the mentoring program is each youth has an idea of what they want to do. You help them cultivate that idea, and then you connect them with people who look like them, but also think like them, and their end goal is the same, you know. And so, you know, I love to have the opportunity to get in front of people, and you know, little kids that say social entrepreneur. They don't know they know what entrepreneur is a little bit, but then they see social entrepreneur, they see author, they see speaker. And so now they see this, and then I'm joking with them, and I'm just a normal person. And so they're able to normalize these positions and see that it's not far beyond their reach, and it kind of gives them hope. And honestly, you can't put a value on that. But our school systems, our politicians, they have a value on it. So it's like they're kind of blocking us from getting there. So I feel like we literally have to fight a system to educate our own kids. And it's a fight, but I don't know if we're all ready for that fight. I don't know if we are taking on that responsibility that kids are seeing what we're doing. A lot of them are rebelling against what we're doing. They don't want to follow that course, but they don't have any support system to help them support the ideas and solutions. I actually wrote a blog about when I was 31. I wrote the 31 lessons I would tell my 21-year-old self, something like that. I can't even remember the name of the blog, but I was writing it to my 21-year-old self, and a couple of things that I would tell my 15-year-old self. One, sports is a platform for you to achieve the things you need to do. You can't play sports forever. It's just a platform. So whether you finish max out at high school, college, or NFL, you still have to figure out what you need to do. Now, whether it be around sports and have your work in sports, that's one thing, but you can't play football, basketball, or baseball forever. And a lot of times, you can use that influence and that following to create the things you need to do. That's one thing I would tell my 15-year-old self. Also, this idea about having it all figured out. I'm 33 and I'm still figuring out. I know older people who are still figuring out. Like this idea of perfection. I know people say practice makes perfect, but practice can increase accuracy. So this idea of perfection is just an illusion. Money. The money situation, I would teach myself, this is a principle: 55, 15, 10, 10, 10. Live off of 55% of my income, save 15%, invest 10% back into myself, invest 10% in my community, and then also invest 10% in companies and stuff like that. So I would always be using my money to fund my dreams. I don't care if it's $1. Like, take that dollar, go buy something, and sell it and make some more money. So I would definitely tell myself that. And also, I'm writing a book about men and women relationships. If young men and young women are able to coexist at a younger age, it makes life easier. So it's kind of like, you're in that age your hormones are raising and you think you're missing out on certain things, but it's not going anywhere. So I would definitely tell them to build stronger relationships with the other sex.